A young child is clinging to life tonight after being pinned between two cars.
Within 1 second, in the blink of an eye, your life is totally different. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. Yoel was the cutest, blonde, mushy, adorable kid you've ever seen.
I can't even tell you, he was like a marshmallow, sweet as sugar.
He was this adorable little boy that you would never think anything would happen to.
And then, when Yoel was 2, the unthinkable happened.
It was a regular day. He loved music. And I decided I wanted him to go to a music together class. It was just a few blocks away.
I was teaching here locally, and I received a phone call that there was an accident. I got there at the precise time that they were loading him into the ambulance.
I get a call from Avi. He says, Michelle, Yoel was in an accident, and it's not good. And I said, I don't understand what you're just saying. What do you mean? He says, I'm by the ambulance. I cannot talk now. I have to go, but I'll call you back when I get to the hospital.
They pushed me into the ambulance.
And I started screaming. It was probably like a primal scream. I just started screaming like a crazy person.
I was there. I heard Michelle scream, and I ran upstairs.
There was a car. Yoel wasn't even by the street.
He was going into a car to get into a carpool.
There was an older gentleman who collapsed at the wheel.
The car went out of control and went up on the sidewalk.
He jumped the curb. He went through 3 lawns, and he stopped and went right into Yoel.
This car came up and smacked his head and crushed his head between the 2 cars.
We got to the hospital. It was like being in a dream. All these doctors and nurses ran around, surrounded him. Something like 20, 25 people surrounded him. And I was standing there on the side just watching this take place. I didn't know what to make of anything. I just knew it was bad.
I just remember crying and screaming at God. This can't be happening to my Yoel. It can't. It can't be happening to him. It can't be happening to me. This is just not... This can't be happening.
And they performed emergency surgery on him.
And I remember seeing this thing lying on a bed, and I'm thinking, could I see anything that would resemble my son? And when I got closer, I realized that's Yoel. That's my son.
That sight will never, ever leave my mind.
The doctors were telling us, this is bad. It's bad.
And they said that the next 24 hours will tell what's going to be.
They didn't think he would survive, and even if he did survive, they said prepare yourself because he probably will never walk or talk or do anything. So just prepare for your new reality.
They said the one thing he can tell you is if he leaves here, he will not be the same person that was brought in here.
Right.
He will never be the same person again.
I said to God, you're gonna lose me. You have to make absolute miracles. I don't care if no one has ever survived something like this before. He'll be the first. I need you to make miracles happen so this kid is good. And I called people. I said, everyone has to daven.
Apparently word was spreading very fast, and people gathered, we saw pictures of people saying Tehillim.
Schools were having hundreds of kids praying, and little kids were doing good deeds for his recovery.
What happened was bringing the community together, the entire Jewish community throughout the world, from different countries. People were saying Tehillim.
We pray, all of us, along with the children together here tonight, for Yoel ben Chaim Al Kafera.
He had major brain damage. I think they kept him in a coma for about 2 weeks. And when they finally did wake him, he didn't do anything. It was like he was sleeping. He couldn't move his finger, he couldn't blink his eyes, nothing. And I thought, oh my God, this is my Yoel now. What am I gonna do? And every day was a struggle. We didn't know he could see, we didn't know he could hear, we didn't know anything.
I remember the first glimmer that things were on the right track.
My mother was singing a song that she always sang to him.
The money on the bus goes ting-a-ling-a-ling-a. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a. Oh my God, he hears.
All of a sudden, he smiled for the first time. Huge smile, because he remembered my mother singing. And I said, he's there. There's a piece of him that's there. That's all I need. All I need is a piece, and then we'll work from that. It gave me so much hope. It gave me so much hope. Doctors were shocked. Doctors couldn't believe it. They've never ever seen someone wake up from an injury that was so severe and so intense. I truly believe that all the miracles that happened with Yoel and his being alive today is because of the support that we got from people, the Tehillim that was said throughout the world, the good deeds that were done. There were so many people that were thinking like, it could have been my son. And it is my son, it's one of ours. It's any mother and father, I think, felt our pain. And they cried out to God. And God listened. You know, he had to start all over again from scratch. It was like a rebirth. He couldn't walk, he couldn't move his hands up and down, he couldn't do anything. It was years and years of physical therapy and occupational therapy. He went through surgery after surgery, and every day he was able to do a little something more.
He lost his frontal lobe in the accident, and that affects personality. He was hyperactive, he was not focused, and he was uncontrollable.
I spent my entire career in the field of education. I knew that Yoel was going to need something special.
He was not a cookie-cutter child, and he did not fit in the box where he would be able to succeed in a regular school, in a regular setting. So we knew we had to search for alternatives. It wasn't easy.
I remember Yoel's accident. I remember watching it on television. What a horror. A little boy crushed up against a car. And I remember prayer vigils throughout the world for this little boy. And I did not follow Yoel after that. But there he was, maybe 4 years later at my doorstep. And I'm talking to his parents, I'm talking to his grandfather. And I felt, this is why SINAI is here.
He's been in SINAI for 4 years, and SINAI has changed our lives.
My name is Yoel Feder. When I was 2, I was in a car crash. It was a miracle that I survived and that I'm here right now.
So when Yoel started with us, he was adorable, but he really completely lacked impulse control. He had difficulty sitting and learning for any period of time, never mind an extended period of time. And just being part of a classroom was super difficult for him, super challenging.
He had 2 modes. He was just in a constant state of either feeling really, really overstimulated by everything around him or worrying that he was going to be overwhelmed and overstimulated by everything around him.
Something would happen in his environment that affected him, and the reaction was immediate and extreme.
Something as simple as the way your chair scraped the floor could be really, really upsetting to him.
A child would say something in a normal tone of voice, and all of a sudden his hands would be over his ears and he would be yelling, "Stop screaming, everybody stop screaming." I think the sensory overload was so hard for him.
The challenges that Yoel is facing are directly related to his traumatic brain injury.
We saw right at the beginning, despite his experiencing so many difficulties at that time, that there was so much potential there, that if given the right opportunity and the right strategies, he'd be able to shine. He needed something that was very highly individualized, even more than 2 or 3 students in a group.
Even in a class where there were 5 or 6 students and 3 teachers, he still needed the additional support of a one-to-one aide.
In the beginning, Yoel's one-to-one was always there by his side. Because of his traumatic brain injury, he has damage to his frontal lobe and really struggled with that internal self-talk that we all do. Things like, it's okay, I can handle this. This is not a big deal. I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to get started. Those little things that we all tell ourselves without realizing it, Yoel didn't have that voice in his head. And so for a long time, his one-to-one was that voice in his head, telling him from right behind his shoulder, it's okay, just start with one word, or just answer one question, or I know that sound is annoying, but you can handle this.
What? Well, I think if you think about it for a moment, you know this answer.
Maybe.
Amazing.
So another presenting issue that we saw is that he is all over the place, and he doesn't seem to know if he's too close to somebody, if he's in other people's personal space. He's having a conversation and he's walking across the room at the same time.
We talk a lot in group about brain and body and this idea of, when we're talking to somebody, how we show interest.
It means, am I oriented? Am I in the conversation? Some of our children, Yoel included, might be sitting in class talking like this as the person is over there, and just the cue word brain and body reminds me, I need to be over here. This is where the conversation is.
When you're doing brain and body, your knees are pointing to who's talking or who you are talking to. And your eyes, your brain is focused on them and your eyes are looking at them.
So each student has 3 or 4 individual goals that they're working towards.
My goals this year are follow directions the first time, focus on my own concerns, brain and body, and using mature behavior.
And it's actually every half hour we stop and we evaluate, how am I doing with my goals? And he'll stop and he'll look at his goal card and he'll say to us, well, I did a nice job of following directions the first time, but I did call out a little bit too much. It's become a self-reflection tool for him.
We are teaching the children things that we all do naturally in our lives.
Yoel has started to internalize the processes that he needs to be successful throughout his day. So for example, right now he has a checklist on his desk, and it's called Yoel's Arrival Checklist.
I use my checklist to tell me what I do, my daily routine.
And so now, rather than his teachers having to remind him of the next step, we just say to him, Yoel, refer to your checklist. And he loves it because it's provided him with this amazing sense of independence and responsibility.
That's always the goal, to become more and more independent, more and more capable of functioning on your own.
I see in Yoel many beautiful things. One of them is his determination. This is a child who is determined to do better, to get better, to make it better.
Yoel has enormous potential. He has become quite self-aware. He really is able to look at himself and say, these are my challenges, And because he's able to say that, he's also able to accept feedback on how to make change.
Yoel has absolutely blossomed over the past few years. Across all academics, Yoel is performing at or above grade level. As Yoel is blossoming, the world is opening up to him.
Let's do it at the same time. Always do kind things.
Beautiful.
He is empathetic beyond his years.
He's happy and he wants to make other people happy.
He's like a bright sun shining. He comes home every day from SINAI. He comes home every day, and I say, Yoel, I missed you. How was your day? And he says, Ima, it was great. And he means it.
He really is a delicious little boy.
Yoel teaches us what it means never to put limitations on what a child can accomplish.
I want to thank all my teachers for helping me learn and helping me at times when I struggle. Without my teachers, I wouldn't know most of what I know.
We have so much gratitude towards SINAI, towards the teachers, towards everyone that works there on not giving up on him and helping him and guiding him.
Why it happened to begin with, I don't know. But I know he would not be where he is now if not for SINAI.
SINAI has changed Yoel's life. He's a totally new person now, and he's incredible. He's incredible.
The reality is that we don't know how he would have been without the accident. We don't know. But I can tell you that he's just pure sweetness.
I almost think to myself, would he be the special kid he is now if he didn't go through that? I don't have the answer, but I do believe he's going to do amazing things in life. I think he's going to be incredible.
I hope so.
Not just regular, I think he's going to be incredible. He's a blessing.